Hello and welcome to this video that supports the report to the Department of Health and Social Care. It's the lived experience consultation model that's really beginning to give information to service users about how we use culture appropriate care in relation to well-being right up to mental disorder. You'll be great to know that this is supported by a range of training videos that should be available early next year that will break down different aspects of the consultation in terms of the mental health legislation, your rights, and also how to activate for change inside and outside the mental health system. We start this with a very important process of emotional emancipation and looking at your inside and how you develop confidence about the need to have cultural therapists from a cultural perspective that actually improves the outcomes for Black people in and outside the mental health system. We ask you in this video to really look at who you are, your lived experience, your culture, and how that can contribute to better care for you. For that reason, we begin to address that care has not been appropriately provided because the models are actually become very Eurocentric and led to our incarceration in systems like the Maudsley through the therapy of people like Henry Maudsley, which we need to challenge in your consultation with your practitioners. When you're being consulted, it's really beginning to actually enable you to say, I do have a lived experience, and that lived experience has been denied because it's been heard through Eurocentric voices. And I want to look at that I am not the product of depomania. I am not a slave of the past. I'm an individual with genius. So this consultation is for you to then say, look, I want to challenge the way Eurocentric theories have actually looked to demonize my body, my mind, my intellect. And I want you to consider when you talk to me and assess me that the Afrocentric theories from Fanon, Wilson, Du Bois, and Wissing are really important and should be an essential part of your training and consultation. So in this consultation, we're asking for you to read and also to ask the people that you work with to ensure they have an understanding of cultural therapies just as important to the trainees who are actually trained in a very Eurocentric way, to understand the importance of Baldwin, W.D. Du Bois, Fanon, Wessing, and the late Bell Hooks. So whether you're in the setting as Maudsley Hospital, we're asking for the consultation to begin to understand that you have a lived experience in other worlds, whether that be education, criminal justice, and mental health. And that consultation should begin to recognize whether there is a Eurocentric bias in the way you're being consulted in your mental health assessments. We ask you to understand the importance that you have important figures in your social life as Black people, from Bernard Core, who says to us, anybody working in the consultation process should have cultural awareness, cultural skills, and cultural desire to change the way in which people are being represented through their cultural experiences. And this is a global expectation that the World Organization has to change the definition of well-being and mental illness so it's more culturally relevant to the lives of lived experiences from African heritage. That Christopher Clunas, the fear of race, size and height is actually challenged, and people are consulted by not the colour of their skin but the content of their character and the unique geniuses that they bring to their social world. That pseudonym is recognised as really important. That we begin to challenge the existing diagnostic framework that is Eurocentric and introduce the lived experience as contributing to new Afrocentric approaches to DSM-5 and ICD-11. That we look at different experiences and those experiences lead us to a different type of consultation. that the mental health system and structure is about assessing our cultural needs, not the pathology of us as a mental disorder that has led to the notion of us being 11 times more likely to be placed under a community treatment order. Then we ask people in their consultation to challenge their consultants about what cultural world do they come from in terms of how they make sense of us and you in the mental health system that's led to a cultural schizophrenia. The dominant European values are actually constructing the African as a mental disorder. In that, we begin to actually ask you to be consulted through the patient race equality framework about why is the Mental Health Act leading to the abuse of community treatment orders. We ask you to be consulted as individuals with social and civil rights about why is the use of the notion of mental disorder and Section 2 of the Mental Health Act leading to this gross overrepresentation of racialized, otherwise known as African and Caribbean communities. We ask you to challenge and work alongside black organisations like CAPSA that they should be consulted with how data is collected, how data is actually made sense of. We ask you to change the mental health legislation. And then lastly, we begin to ask you why in a 200-year period from 1851 and Depromania, black men are losing their lives, black women are most likely to die in childcare, black adolescents are more likely to be searched in schools. And lastly, in the consultation model, we have to read, we have to write, we have to keep up to date, we have to work through the CAPSA and the Black Fives to ensure they are representing our rights. Thank you very much.